The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Fighting hunger on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about the garden later on, and that's when the roundtable shows up too, so stay tuned. We have a great show for you. Where we want to start though is talking about the serious problem of hunger, and we do it with three serious guys who are all three public servants. We're going to address this topic. First, of course, my buddy Eric Aft. He's the CEO of Second Harvest Food Bank in Northwest North Carolina, and then our friends David Daggett, Griff Schuler from the Daggett Schuler Law Firm. Good to see you guys.
Hey, Jim.
Good to be here.
Eric, let me start with you. Let's remind everybody what the mission is of the food bank.
Yeah, we address food insecurity across the 18 counties of Northwest North Carolina, as well as the root causes. And at this time, we're actually helping out 3 of the counties of our sister food bank who was impacted by Hurricane Helene.
Right, and we'll get to that in just a second too. But before I do that, and before I forget, let's also remind people that as a warehousing and distribution and administrative unit, we can't have people coming to you directly because you have agencies for that, right?
That's exactly right. Actually, 496 partners across those 18 counties that are on the ground that we work with closely to make sure that people facing food insecurity are able to access food that they need for their families.
All right, now let's get back to Hurricane Helene, the devastating aftermath of that. I know that you've been doing a lot of assistance up there at first, emergency relief, that type of thing. How has your relief efforts changed since then, and how's it going now?
Yeah, 6 of our own counties and 3 of Manna Food Bank's counties are ones that we're focused on right now. You know, at the beginning, it was all about getting food, water, especially ready-to-eat items. So a lot of pop-top items because, of course, nobody had electricity, potable water. So making sure that people could pop things open, eat, and get the nutrition that they needed. We have shifted to a lot more fresh food, with 30% of the grocery stores not in operation in that area. Is getting access to food is critical, and especially fresh items. So whether it's dairy, eggs, produce, meats, we are going there every single day in various counties to make sure that it's there.
That's just great. David, speaking of helping communities, you and Griff and your team have been supporting the food bank, community food drives for a long time. Why?
Well, we have. It's important. Every time Eric talks about it, I kind of get goosebumps. What their organization does is absolutely amazing, and it's very complex with all your member agencies. It's very, very complex. But I think the backbone is the individuals and the individual small businesses that all piece together that add up to this gigantic effort. And Griff and I think it's incumbent on a local business that we are part of community efforts that help in an area of drastic need in our community.
And that's an everyday need, not just with a hurricane.
It is an everyday need. And the thing that it's hard for me to wrap my head around is probably hunger and food insufficiency is the number one issue in our prosperous, beautiful area.
Right.
It's shocking.
City of the arts, all sorts of prosperous things going on, businesses, economic development. Yeah, hunger is still a problem. Griff, you were shaking your head yes when David was talking about so many things and causes that you guys can support, and you choose a food bank. Why?
Think about the impact Second Harvest Food Bank has been making in our community for years. Number one, started in 1982, so been around for a long, long time, from Boone to Burlington. Think about that in the counties and the people that they've impacted. And then you think about the fact that in addition to servicing folks in their immediate food insecurity, they go to the source of the problem and include things like nutrition education that makes a more lasting impact. Right. So, for David and me to see the impact they're making with so many people on that geographic area for so long, How can you not support this group?
Absolutely, that's well put. Now, I want to tell the folks, just as a programming note, when we take a quick break here, we're going to come back and we're going to continue this conversation, sort of have a double segment conversation because hunger is such an important issue. We want to do that. But before I do that, up on screen, as we'll do on both segments, Second Harvest, NWNC.org is a website that you can go to. Second Harvest, NW stands for Northwest North Carolina.org. And also, if you should ever need David and Griff, you can go to daggettschulerlaw.com. That's daggettschulerlaw.com or call 724-1234. Again, when we come back in just a moment, we will continue our discussion about fighting hunger in the area. We'll be right back.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Back now on Triad Today as we continue our discussion on fighting hunger with Eric Aft, David Daggett, and Griff Schuler. Let me get back to Eric for a second. How pervasive is hunger in our area, and is the problem getting better or worse?
Yeah, as David alluded to, it is a tremendous challenge in our community. 1 in 7 individuals, unfortunately 1 in 5 of our kids face food insecurity. A great kind of illustration is the fact that just in the month of October, our partner agency network and us served over 84,000 individuals. And, when we think about that, those are seniors, kids, families, veterans in our community. If you're driving, if you think of kids in your kids' classroom or driving down the street, these are folks who sometimes need a little help, and that's why we're here.
Well, in the previous segment, we talked about Hurricane Helene and the emergency relief help you were doing. Now, even through that, you had to keep up your normal day-to-day, 24/7 help for people. What kind of services do you continue for everybody, regardless of disaster?
Yeah, it's critical. As our team talked about, well, we only have one pie. I said, no, we will create another pie so we can respond to the disaster. Because whether it's providing food assistance on a daily basis or doing our nutrition education that Griff alluded to, our culinary training, our logistics and distribution management program, again, looking at that root cause to help people be successful. But it does start with what we put in our bodies. That fuels our brain development for kids and then keeps us healthy and ready to be active.
Yeah, David, since Eric mentioned kids, you and Griff have been active doing all sorts of things for kids, including backpack programs and things like that, to help kids get ready to learn, to get ready to live through school. How does that help sort of fit into what we're talking about in terms of preparing our kids and helping our kids now, but making them strong in the future?
It's a perfect fit. Investing in the food bank, supporting the food bank supports our future of our community. Because when you have 1 in 5 kids who's hungry, their attention isn't on studying or becoming the best they can be. It's how am I going to make it through today? And that creates an instability in those segments of society. If we can stabilize that instability, it provides for a better future for all of us.
Yeah, we've talked about your commitment individually and David's. What about businesses? What do you say to other businesses about them getting involved to help the food bank?
Well, if you're trying to run a business and you're trying to, quote, make a profit, you also should be focusing in on how to give back. And you think about, here we are right about the holidays, or think about, Thanksgiving. You think about how blessed so many are. And we don't think about food, and you waste food. And so, one of the big things I think the Second Harvest Food Bank, essential theme is not wasting food and things like that. So, give back and help others. And, if all businesses did that and we collectively as a community
Right.
got behind that, we'd be a lot better off.
Absolutely. And Eric, how important is it to sustain your mission when you get support from businesses like Daggett?
It's essential. It's actually, most of the money that we raise to invest back in our work comes from folks like Griff and David and members of their team and their organization. So, people sometimes think it's big foundations or large corporations.
Right.
We're thankful for that, but it's the individuals and small businesses
Right, yeah.
that drive our budget.
Because the government isn't saying, here, Eric, here's a check, that kind of thing. But David, you have something, don't you?
Yeah. So we had Eric in our office to speak to our staff, and that same day pick up our collection from our office that all of our employees contributed to. And here we have a little check here for Second Harvest Food Bank. And thank you for all you do. And we pledge and promise our continued support of your organization, not just through collection and donation, but also for spreading the word and offering encouragement to other organizations.
We greatly appreciate this.
Good job, guys. Up on screen, Second Harvest, NWNC.org is the website for more information. And you can also go to daggettschulerlaw.com or call 724-1234. Guys, thanks for all the hard work you do. Eric, it's like running an army for you, but you do it well, my friend.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate
David and Griff, thank you. And David, you're going to hang around for the roundtable later, right?
Yes.
All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Back now on Triad Today, and always good to spend a few minutes with the good folks from the Piedmont Triad Regional Council. So on my right is Jennifer Bedrosian. She's a coordinator for food systems and for Piedmont Triad Regional Council, and Adam Scholl is Assistant Director for Regional Planning. Good to see both of you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jim.
Adam, before we get going, and I'll get Jennifer to tell me some specifics about the topic, but remind people what the mission of PTRC is.
Absolutely. Thank you. The Piedmont Triad Regional Council is a council of government with the mission of improving the lives of our communities through creative regional solutions. We work across 12 counties, frequently bring together elected officials, local government staff, any stakeholder working to improve lives in communities. We carry forward this mission through 6 departments. So economic development, workforce development, community development, we do a lot of developing.
Right,
We have
right.
the Area Agency on Aging,
Right.
criminal justice, and then regional planning where I serve.
And of course, in the community, and let me turn to Jennifer. Let's talk about this food council, and of course, in your very title, it talks about food systems. What's the food council about?
Yeah, so thank you. The Piedmont Triad Regional Food Council is an amazing group of individuals that work across different and represent different aspects of the food system across our 12 counties. So we have, for example, our 2 current co-chairs are Conna Miller, who is a co-manager of a food hub based in Davidson County, and LaShawna Austria, who is with Seeds of Change Consulting out of Alamance County.
Right. Now, what about this growing food finance funding project? What are the goals of that? What is it? And tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we work, the Growing Food Finance Project is a new project of PTRC and the Food Council. It is a partnership between Piedmont Triad Regional Council and 2 CDFI mission-driven lenders, Self-Help and Partner Community Capital. And there are 2 main goals of the program, really. One is to provide resources to healthy food projects to help them be successful.
Right.
And then 2 is to provide loan products to those healthy food projects, eligible healthy food projects, to help those products be more accessible in underserved areas.
Now, to understand that you, in all that, and translate this for me, you're assisting with the retailers who are going to participate in this. Now, how is a retailer eligible to help with this?
Yeah, so we have a couple of designations that are specific to this grant: food retail and food enterprise. I'm going to turn it over to Adam in just a minute to talk a little bit more about that. But I guess one of the things before we get to that, I just wanted to share that we're really excited about is that to carry out this project and those resources that I mentioned earlier, PTRC was awarded $3 million to carry this out, and of federal funds, and we anticipate this project beginning this summer in 2024. So
I tell you, as somebody who's done grant development, that was music to your ears, wasn't it? Before we run out of time, let's go back to this thing. I'm curious about this helping retailers and how do they help people and get involved with this?
Absolutely. So two main groups who can benefit from our program that Jennifer described. Food retailer is just what you're thinking, direct sell to consumers of fresh, healthy foods. Also, to be eligible, we need to accept SNAP benefits and EBT payments, those sort of things.
Right.
Food enterprise, we want to talk to folks about. It's a broad term, but it's organizations and businesses in the food supply chain. So please reach out to us and kind of learn more about what that is, and we'll help you out there.
Well, up on screen, you can go to www.ptrc.org. And also, if she doesn't mind, I think you can email Jennifer at jbedrosian at ptrc.org, and 904-0300 is that. And I hope the two of you will come back sometime soon, because I want to see how it's going, sort of check the progress and feedback on what you're getting on that. But I just think what you're doing is marvelous for the community and helping so many people eat healthy and have access to those foods. Thanks a lot for what you're doing.
absolutely, thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
North Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's cleaner, reliable, and that stays affordable. We're getting out of coal and reinvesting in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources, and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that North Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Baby, watch me fly. Baby, watch me soar. Baby, watch me fly. I will open up the sky.
Fly local, fly easy, fly PTI.
Back now on Triad Today, and always glad we can spend a few minutes with some of the good folks from Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina, especially as we talk about this important topic of veteran services. With me, of course, our good friend Janice Richardson. She's manager of Career Connections at Goodwill. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well, Jim.
And I'm especially glad that you came. We pulled you out, even though that you're under the weather today, but you got up and came over anyway, and we really appreciate it because this is an important topic.
Absolutely.
What are some of the unique challenges that veterans face when they're trying to find a job?
A couple that stand out, Jim, are age discrimination, for one. We're seeing more and more older veterans having to return to the workforce. And so sometimes that's a challenge for them. And also collaborating in the civilian workforce is also a challenge for some of our veterans. It's a totally different world for them in the civilian workforce as opposed to the military.
Yeah, and what would you say is the mission, the overall mission of Veteran Services Program at Goodwill? What are you trying to accomplish? If you had to tell somebody in a commercial or something, what would you say?
Okay. Overall, our mission is to help the veteran to be self-sufficient, as well as the family, because we take a holistic approach to veteran services.
Right.
So we assist the veteran with their job search or whatever need they have. And in addition to that, if there's a spouse or a child of working age in the home, we work with them as well.
All right. Now, you mentioned services before. I want to get you just to mention a few specific ways that you help, a few specific services. Give me an idea.
Some of the services we provide are job readiness training, which would consist of things like helping them with their resume, actually helping them with the job search, sitting down with them at a computer, teaching them how to fill out employment applications, skills training. There may be some courses they want to take to help shore up their skills so they're more marketable. We assist with that, and we do have scholarship money available at Goodwill to help pay for those courses.
Wow.
Sometimes folks might be having housing situations, so we may need to assist them with that as well, because sometimes we deal with homeless veterans as well as those that are on the verge of being homeless.
It really goes back to that holistic approach that you're
Absolutely.
talking about, where you're not just focusing in on the veteran, but the veteran's family, and the things that could be barriers or obstacles to that veteran, not just in finding a job, but in finding housing or anything else. We'll put the website up in just a second, but in general, are there any special events coming up, or that people can, when they go on the website and find out, any kind of events that you do for veterans?
Sure. Some things that we just do on a consistent basis, that one thing that stands out is our monthly Richard Childress Racing does a veterans coffee every month. So we usually have a table set up to share information. And also, too, we also get our hands dirty and help serve coffee as well as donuts to the veterans. This is our way to say thank you for the services that they have provided. We also have some courses that we offer in partnership with NC Works and some of our other partners, off-base transitional training, which is job readiness training to help them, again, make the transition from military life into the civilian workforce, and just other ongoing directing them to resources and things that are in the community to help them.
You know, in your career, you could have done a lot of different things, not just at Goodwill, but other industries, and had opportunities to do that. But you're helping to focus on veteran services, and I'm wondering, what kind of personal gratification do you get? Because I know that we all get paid to do various things that we do, but what's your personal gratification in this?
For me, that personal gratification is seeing that veteran come in having a very tough situation and seeing them blossom and able to persevere in spite of those challenges that they may be having and land on top of things.
I just appreciate what you're doing. Up on screen, goodwillvetservices.org is a specific website you can go to. That's goodwillvetservices.org. You can call 336-724-3625, or you can email careers@goodwillnwnc.org. To Janice Richardson, I appreciate everything you do for the vets.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Visit the website, visit the garden. It's beautiful this time of year. It's beautiful all year. And it's beautiful in here with three beautiful guys. On my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman. David Daggett stayed over from a previous segment. Bob Shackelford, he used to be president of Randolph Community College, now has his own company, the Shackelford Creative Leadership Institute, isn't it?
That's right.
All right. Congratulations. We could do a whole thing just on your thing, but not now. All right, first topic. Governor Roy Cooper's at it again, guys. This time he commuted prison sentences for two more murderers. One of the murderers only served 17 years of a 33-year sentence, the other 24 years of a 52-year sentence. You guys okay with letting killers out of prison early? Ogie?
I don't know the details, Jim, but I mean, that's not that unusual. They both served over half their sentences, and they're eligible for parole, so I don't think I have a problem with it.
David?
Yeah, to answer your question, generally no. However, there are individual stories. I don't know the stories here and don't know the merits of the decision. I think we need to keep that in place and give that discretion to the
board.
officials.
Yeah, the board recommends to Cooper. Yeah, Bob?
I know there are extenuating circumstances to be considered, but for violent crimes, I'm not as inclined.
All right. The State Commerce Department reports that we lose up to $13 billion in economic impact each year because North Carolinians with young children cannot afford child care. That's because if these folks could afford child care, they say up to 68,000 more people would be in the workforce. Guys, should taxpayers subsidize child care for parents, or should the state offer tax breaks for companies and provide child care, or both, or neither? Ogie?
I think it should be covered by insurance, first of all. But failing that, I don't have a problem with either of those options. But
David?
I say yes, yes, and yes, and yes to other alternatives. We've got a problem in our community, in our society. We need to put our heads together and figure out a way to solve the problem.
People who are not involved have no idea how expensive child care is today. Subsidize it, put these people to work, and let them be taxpayers.
To put them on the tax rolls. Good. All right. If someone mails in a ballot early and then he or she dies before Election Day, only 10 states are required by law to count that vote. 9 states are required not to count the vote of someone who dies after doing a mail-in ballot before Election Day. All other states, like North Carolina, allow for challenges to it, allow for discretion. Here's a question. Should Congress pass a law to require all 50 states to count a vote of a person who died after mailing his or her ballot? Ogie.
Absolutely. My wife and I were talking about, we voted early in case we died, that our vote would count. I mean, I wanted to vote, if I died before the election, I wanted to vote against Trump and make it known.
Well, that's our vote against or for anybody, but we don't know. David?
As a general policy, I think yes, they should count. For example, because you're going to make a distinction without a difference somewhere along the way. What if I always vote, I'm the first person in line, I vote at 6:30 on Election Day.
Right.
What if I die before they're counting?
Right.
Should that one count?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna draw the line?
Yeah.
If you voted, it should count.
Bob?
They're not going to check everyone's breathing status on Election Day, so count all of them. If you voted legally, it counts.
All right, I agree. The Winston-Salem Forsyth School Board is considering a change to their hiring process. If the proposed change passes, applicants who test positive for THC on their pre-employment drug screening will not be automatically rejected for employment. One reason, last year, the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools lost 2 teachers, just in one example, lost them to Guilford schools who do not drug test job applicants. Guys, should all teacher applicants statewide be drug tested or not? Ogie?
No. I mean, times have changed, Jim. I mean, everywhere in the country, marijuana is legal just about everywhere now. And other drugs, test for coke and meth, not for pot.
David?
I believe, yes, we should test for it. Yes, it should be a criteria. I don't think it should be an automatic disqualifier. Sometimes it's medically prescribed.
Right.
There's now these gummies out there that some doctors are recommending. What's the story behind it?
Yeah.
If they wake up every morning and smoke a joint, it might be a disqualifier.
Bob?
If you want to smoke pot or drink or stand on your head on your own time, it's not the school's problem unless you make it the school's problem. If you come to work high or drunk and it affects your performance, we're going to test you and we're going to nail you.
All right, there you hear it from an educator. The merits of high-speed police chases are once again being debated across the country following reports of citizen fatalities. Since these chases often occur on federal highways, should Congress ban the use of high-speed chases everywhere? Ogie?
Yes. I covered a story in Jamestown about a fatality. State Patrol was following a speeder and hit a grandmother and her granddaughter and killed them both. Yeah, I don't like it.
All right, quickly.
No, they should not regulate that. I have handled cases where there's been speeding law enforcement and they've shattered families' lives. However, there is a time and place for speeding law enforcement, and what we need to do is we need to properly train, properly monitor, and properly enforce proper law enforcement standards.
Over time, the highways are not going to be safer by letting people go without any consequences.
All right. Finally, a new study says there are health benefits to wearing pajamas around the house all day, guys. Other than when you've had to stay at home sick, have you ever lounged around in your PJs all day, Ogie?
I like to dress up and all, but I mean, during the pandemic, there were probably 3 days out of the week I didn't bother to get dressed.
David, are you a pajama lounger?
I don't think I've ever done that.
Really?
I get up, get dressed, I get going every day.
Regardless, Bob.
Jim, you've just described a beautiful day.
All right, that's all for that. Oh, except for this. The company making dolls from the movie Wicked are embarrassed because on the packaging they have accidentally put a porn site on there. And parents who love The Wizard of Oz are outraged. One of the parents said, how in the world can they make something dirty out of a story about a little girl who picks up 3 strange men? I think I just answered the question, didn't I? For all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.